I've got a Kathy DeWitt Dunn. She's the president and CEO of DeWitt and Dunn Financial Services here. And, you know, we've been looking at some of these life lesson tweets from people on social media, and they're really saying, hey, Dad told me to save my money. So good thing we brought you in this morning to start us off here. So let's start with you're saying the early bird gets the worm. I've heard of that one before.
Yeah, that's a classic, right? I mean, one of the things, too, is that if you're 25 years old and you put $5,000 a year away to age 65.
Let's say that again. 25 years old.
Right, putting
okay.
$5,000 a year away.
Every year?
Every year,
okay.
assuming 8% average rate of return compounded until age 65, you'd have $1.3 million set aside.
Kathy,
yeah.
Are we talking in a normal savings account or like a brokerage account?
Well, I would say something conservative, but
right.
you just have to take a look at what your goals and objectives are. But just think about this: if you were 35 years old and you started to save $5,000 a year, right? Mm-hmm. And you wait to age 65, you have half that money.
See, I wish I knew these stats back then. I really do. So my prompter's a little wonky, so I've got my questions here on paper for you. So failing to plan is planning to fail.
Right. I mean, that's a big one, If you don't have a plan in place, I mean, where are you going to be later down in life? What is your debt load? What does that look like? Are you looking to buy a home? Is your debt out of control? Maybe perhaps take a look at the snowball planning effect, which is look at all your credit cards, take a look at your debt, pay the lowest one off that you have, like the lowest balance.
I've heard that before.
Right, and then go on to the next one after you've paid that off. So it's just kind of helping yourself. And if you see that you've paid one of your debts off, then you can move on to the next, because everyone has debt right now, right? So we need to probably clear the slates, take a look at it, and make sure you have a budget in place so you don't do that same thing again.
That's true. Now, Kathy, I've heard of this one when it comes to relationships, but not when it comes to money. The grass is not always greener on the other side.
Well, it works for relationships and for money, right?
It sure does.
One of the challenges is that everybody's trying to stay up with their friends and their neighbors, the big house,
keeping up
cars.
with the Joneses.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The boats. But the biggest thing is later down the road, you're going to need to have all that money maybe set aside for retirement, because you can't turn around and go out and finance your retirement. And that's one of the things that I see with my clients. Their biggest regret was spending too much money when they were younger, when they really didn't need to do that.
That makes sense. I mean, I've seen some young people dipping into their 401ks to put a down payment on a house.
Yeah, that's just probably not a great idea. I mean, you really need to put that money out of sight, out of mind, make sure that it's going to be there. And if you pull that money out, typically you're going to have an IRS penalty of 10%. So that's just, it's costing you more money to do that.
Let's get to our last point here. When life gives you lemons, make some lemonade.
Right, exactly. I mean, if you take a look at everything that you're doing, and you need to have an emergency fund, right? We all have emergencies and things happen. So make sure that you have money that's being set aside or pulled out, going into a savings account that you know that you're going to be able to get to maybe 3 to 6 months of savings set aside that that's going to be there. And the biggest thing is that, for all the dads that are out there today, we want to help our kids. We want to be the bank of dad, and that's probably a pretty big challenge. And lending money to your kids, according to a recent survey,
what does it say?
It says that for parents are if we were to look at how much money we give our kids, we would be ranked as the 7th largest lender in America. Yeah, so you really need to
let
sit
that
down.
sink in.
Yeah, isn't that amazing?
Yes.
So we just need to sit down with our kids, put a plan in place, and the biggest thing that you could do is being, a father today, maybe talk to your kids about saving, budgeting, taking a look at maybe if they're going off to college. But the biggest thing is focusing on yourself and make sure that you're going to have money set aside for your retirement later down the road.
Great ideas there. Kathy, thank you so much for joining us this morning. And y'all listen to Dad. Thank you. We'll put all that information on our website at WFAA.com. We'll be right back after this break.